Hello and welcome to Losers Watch Love is Blind.
Season 7.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Crista.
And we're the losers watching Love is Blind.
Love is Blind.
What are your thoughts on the first batch of episodes? Just in general.
How many did we watch? 7?
7 whole episodes, which was a lot.
Usually it's like 4. That was a lot. It's a lot of info in my brain. It was fine. I like that everybody's older. Compared to the other seasons, because Hannah was the youngest at 27.
I think she's 26.
Well, the way that they broadcasted her on the Netflix Love is Blind Instagram was 27.
Fine,
maybe, I don't know. Maybe she said 26, though, when they filmed. And then when they started showing it, they said 27, because she is now.
Or I'm just wrong.
Maybe, but...
the youngest man was 28.
Yeah. So I liked that they were older again, like UK, because I feel like it's more...
mature people.
And like they're actually looking for love. I think a 20-year-old isn't looking for love. I think they're looking to be on TV.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think these people all seem more like, I actually want to find a partner and I'm here to find somebody and give it a go. So I liked that part.
This might be the first season that has Chelsea from season 4.
Chelsea, who's married to Kwame.
Yeah, from whatever season that was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But she's a part of recruitment as of the last season 6 announcement. So maybe this is the first one with her. Maybe they're doing a good job.
Yeah. Well, it would have been filmed before UK came out, because I wonder if UK got a good reaction because everybody was older.
Yep, maybe.
And then, but they would have already done this by then, so it doesn't really matter, I guess.
Yeah.
But I liked that better, a lot better. I just think it was more mature conversations, more things that actually needed to be talked about. And more, I don't want to say fun, but I found it more entertaining than watching a 20-year-old who I know is just bullshitting sitting there.
You're so cynical about our 20-year-olds.
It's true facts. Look at all the seasons. Like, I want to watch Trevor on TV again.
That was different. You picked the worst case scenario.
Yeah, I know. That was the worst season.
No, it wasn't. Season 5 was worse than that.
I forget season 5 already.
Because almost no one got married.
Oh,
they had one married couple.
Milton.
Yeah.
And I don't remember. I fucking hated her. I don't remember her name. They're still married. That's so cute.
They're the only ones from that season.
And then Barnett and Amber from season 1 just announced having a baby. So exciting.
Clap, clap. Clap, clap.
I think that the beginning seasons of this show, and I think this season, I like this season more than the in-between ones. I think the first 2 seasons were very genuine, where people actually were into the experiment and wanted to try. And that's why there's still 2 couples from season 1 who are still together. And I like that.
Yeah, I think the actual marriage rate and not getting divorced is pretty good on Love is Blind.
Yeah. Except, yes, I just think there was a lot that didn't get married the last seasons in between.
Yes.
Because I don't think they actually wanted to be there. Like, I don't think they were there for the right reasons. And I think this season feels more like a season 1 to me. And I like that.
That's good. So I didn't watch those ones.
I know. But I just like that was what, 7 years ago? So it would have been filmed 8 years ago, basically now. Maybe even longer.
I don't think it's one season.
You don't think?
A year.
I guess. Well, I don't know. Anyways, I like that they're still together. Moving on.
There were a lot of pod episodes. Like episodes 1 through 6 were all pod related. And it was
because only 7 was in Mexico.
No, I think 6 was like the last episode in the pods.
Yeah.
And then it was Mexico, or maybe 5 was pods and then Mexico. But
a lot of pods.
A lot of pods. A lot of couples. Like they actually showed us like 7 different groupings of people that went on, and then they actually had to be like, this couple didn't get chosen to be followed.
And I found out why. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh.
I read about it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh, the tea.
I don't know this, so this will be new education for me.
We'll talk about it when we get there.
They're last.
Yeah, well, they should be.
Okay, we're going back, starting at the beginning. Episode 1, minute 1. Love Island. They all walk in. We're going through this minute by minute, guys.
Why'd you say Love Island?
Damn it.
So used to just talking about Love Island.
We're going through this minute by minute. One description. One person's foot in front of another.
Absolutely not. I would die.
Okay.
It's already 8 hours of our life just watching it.
or more, because some of them were more than an hour.
Well, that's why I'm saying 8 hours, though, because it was only 7 episodes. So I'm giving you like an hour of extra time, probably an hour and a half. Let's be realistic. One of those episodes was an hour and 32 minutes. God.
Okay, we're going to talk about the first couple that get engaged. Garrett and Taylor. Garrett is 31, a physicist. Taylor is 29, a policy advocate, somehow dealing with clean hydrogen fuel.
So they're both nerds. She has I like her little tattoo on her wrist of the hydrogen symbol.
Yeah.
She's such a nerd.
Yeah, and Garrett also has some equation tattooed on his arm.
Yeah, I don't remember what
to match his nerdness.
Yeah. I think they're cute. I like them together.
Yeah.
I think they're very sweet.
Yeah, they seem very genuine and into it. And, well, like Garrett describes that he won't find anyone in his field of work and he won't find anyone with his hobbies. So, like, that's kind of why he was there.
Yes.
And, like,
which makes sense.
He knows that he's not doing well dating because he's not going to where the girls are. So he went on the show.
He's a physicist. I feel like you're busy.
Yeah.
Like, I think his field of work is a busy thing that he does. Who has time for trying to look? So I get it. And then I think Taylor I don't think she has great luck either.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's because she is so nerdy and she's looking for something specific where how do you find that when those are the people hiding away? So.
In physicist labs.
Yes. I think, though, I like them. I like their conversations. I think them talking in the pods was I think they dug deep with each other to learn different things about each other.
Yep.
And I liked their reactions to each other.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they're very cute. Yeah. And I'm only worried about him meeting her mom because they talked about that a lot.
Yeah, kind of. But it was always very vague because one of the things that comes up is that Taylor is Asian and she gave nothing about her ethnicity. So didn't tell him. She
wouldn't say her mother's name because it's very Asian.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Like, I understand that. So she talked about her mom, but not very much because it would give too much of her culture away.
Yes.
Which I also thought was very good of them. Because I feel like it's definitely hard to not talk about your ethnicity or, like, your looks in any way. And I think they did a really good job of keeping that from each other.
Yeah, later it's like when the couples meet in Mexico, another couple talks about how Garrett and Taylor never talked about looks before meeting. And then they met. And, like, everyone then got to meet Taylor or Garrett, vice versa.
And they had no clues at all.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was really good on them to actually keep to that, because I could imagine how hard having conversations for as long as they do without talking about anything like that is crazy.
Yeah, I agree. They play chess across the pods. I thought that was cute because they're nerds and they can do that.
Yeah.
Because I definitely could not do that over words.
No, that would hurt.
They had boards, but, I wouldn't be able to do queen to c7 over and over again.
No, absolutely not. I feel like there wasn't a lot. They had no other connections that we were shown.
Yep.
They were just about each other the whole time, which I also liked. Like, you get to learn more about their journey because they're only talking to each other that whole time. And then I don't know what else you have about them talking to each other, but I think when they met.
Their only real issue was, like, he was concerned about how little she was giving him about her family and the culture thing, but, like, they had a conversation and everything was fine.
No.
So, like, that was their one drama. Yeah, they go through. At one point, they give each other gifts. Taylor got him an avocado.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty big avocado. Garrett got Taylor honey from his grandparents' farm.
Yeah.
So, like, that was sweet. They talked about...
Isn't it crazy that he just flew to wherever this was filmed or lived there or whatever and just brought a fucking jar of honey with him? He was like, I might give this to someone on this adventure. Like, he had to bring that with him. It's not like they... Halfway through, he was like, "Ooh, can you guys get a thing of honey from my grandparents' farm?" Like, he brought that with him.
Yeah, but that means, like, he must have planned to talk about his family.
I know.
And what they do, etc.
But it's just such a weird, like, "Sir, why do you have this honey in here?" And you're like, "I'm going to film a TV show and I might give it to a girl." Like, it's just a weird...
Yeah.
It's a weird background thought to have.
No, that's true. They talk about kids. Taylor says... roughly 5 to 7 years from now. Garrett would like a little sooner.
He said 5 years.
Yeah. I think he said 3 to 5 or something like that.
So they can meet in the middle because 5 is the middle ground for them.
Yeah. the gift conversation, that's when Garrett asks Taylor to be his girlfriend and says, I won't leave here until you're my girlfriend. And then they go back and forth, and it's kind of cute. And then she leaves without being his girlfriend.
Saying it, yeah.
Yeah.
But also, that's a first that I've ever seen in the pods. Somebody asks somebody to be their girlfriend. That's not a usual conversation, because you're asking them to, like, be your fiance.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of it. So no one's ever been like, should I ask them to be my girlfriend? Like, I legitimately think that's the first time that's ever happened. So that was sweet.
Mm-hmm.
They were cute.
Yeah. In this season, a lot of like the girls talking to the girls in their room, and then the boys talking to the boys in their room.
And Netflix really making sure that we see them eat.
Yes, lots
so
of
that's not something they get sued for again later.
Yeah, but in one of those circumstances, Taylor's back with the girls, and then a bouquet of sunflowers got dropped off, and they were from Garrett, and it said
they're her favorite flower.
Yeah. And then it's like, will you be my girlfriend? So then she has to say, yeah.
Yes, no, or maybe.
Yeah, yes.
He wrote that like a little child out of a box, and then she had to give it back to him. I thought that was cute.
They meet again, and Taylor reads a letter
from her grandpa to her grandma.
Yeah, from like World War II or something.
Yeah.
It was a sweet little thing to have them like converse about, and like shows that she still is talking about her family. Yeah,
without giving much away. It was very sweet. I thought that was a cool thing to bring with you to share with someone.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this season we didn't get episode 1 where a couple actually met at the end. We didn't.
Where they got engaged at the end. Yeah, because I think it was too many couples. They went through a lot of people in the first episode this time.
Yeah.
Whereas normally they don't. So I like the way they did it this year better.
Yeah, because like it was like the end of episode 2 was when Garrett and Taylor were meeting.
Like there was a lot of couples in this one that were only about each other.
Yep.
So maybe that's why. Maybe they didn't know who they wanted to do first. I don't know, because there was 3 couples, I think, that were just solely into each other without any issues.
3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe...
No, 4.
Yeah, which is usually doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I liked when they met each other.
Yeah.
I thought it was very sweet.
They both seemed into it.
Yeah. Neither one seemed offended by the other one's face, which was good.
That is good.
And he didn't even care about what her ethnicity was at all. Like, there was no shock, upsetness, like, at all. There was nothing. He just thought she was beautiful, and that was it.
He was just pumped.
Yeah, he was just pumped that she's not an ogre, which is great.
It was, the only thing you made me write down was, like, it was awkward how long we were watching them talk.
Like, in general.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
because it was long. Usually it's not that long. Like, and then this is the first season that anybody's talked about how long they actually sit there. Ooh, I don't remember what couple said it, but somebody said, we're sitting there for half an hour together. And I didn't know it was that long.
Mm-hmm. For
some reason in my head, because we only see it for a minute, I thought it was maybe like 15 minutes.
Well, we see it for like 5, but
yeah. But, and I didn't realize it was like 30 to 45 minutes. Like, that's a long time to sit there awkwardly for any of these people.
Going...
No, that's Ashley A.
I know.
Only Ashley goes, But we did see them talk for a very long time, and it was kind of weird. But other than that, like, nothing about their conversation was weird, though.
No.
Like, it wasn't, they seemed very genuine. I agree, they seemed into each other, which is great. Like, they just seemed happy. It was just a weird amount of time. I think it was like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Cool. Who's next?
Will they get married?
Oh, do I think so?
Yeah.
I think they will.
Okay.
They're like, I think I have in my brain like 3 couples that I think will, and I think they're one of them.
I also think so.
Yeah.
Okay, couple 2, Monica and Steven.
Black but not black.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Monica is 36. She's a sales associate. She says that she has a pattern of good chemistry and then not having actual compatibility. Steven is 34, an electrician, bigger, heftier dude, and definitely fits like the kind of like the look he has.
Yeah, but he's 10% black. But he learns this. He tells Monica all about this, about how he did like what do you call that?
His sister did an ancestry.
Yes. And he always identified as a white man, because this is the difference. Like, Taylor didn't talk about a race at all, and this guy's like, I identify as white. And he's like, but I learned I'm 10% black. And he's like so proud that he's 10% black. I just think he's so sweet. I really like Steven. And I just think that whole thing was so funny. And Monica's just like, okay, cool.
Yeah. He seemed very genuine about it because they didn't show like, hey, I'm a black man or anything. But they did say he said he was very like, cool. I always thought I was Italian or my dad was Italian, but turns out
we're not at all.
I have ancestors from Africa. And then he like read some books with some newfound passions.
Yeah. And he was not Italian at all, which is the funniest part, that they all thought that for so long.
Yeah.
Do you think he knew that Monica was black? I don't think I would have been able to tell just from her voice.
No, and not from like the conversations that we saw. But like, it's not like he first comes out with this.
No, I know.
He talks about this eventually.
I just in my head, I was thinking, Monica is like one of the people that I really wouldn't have been able to tell if I was just listening to her talk and the way she talks and just about her. If she never mentioned anything about that, I don't know what race I would have thought she was, you know?
Well, yeah, but we don't know what she was talking.
No, I know.
From what they didn't show us or whatever.
Yeah.
Some things about Steven. He has emotionally cheated before by sliding into the DMs of someone else during a relationship. And then he goes, I thought that my girlfriend was too good for me at the time, so I did a dumb thing, blah, blah, blah. He apologizes and said he's gone to therapy and worked on himself from that.
I think it's good he admitted to any of it and told her.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's great. And that it's not going to come up and bite him in the ass later when it somehow comes up.
Yeah. And easier for her to like back out right away.
Yeah.
If it's a red flag or whatever.
Yeah.
He voted for Trump in 2016. And then says he regrets it, and then voted Democrat in 2020. And they didn't talk at all about what's coming up, but this was over a year ago, so who knows?
Oh, and Monica didn't talk about her side at all.
Well, that we saw.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
Do you like them?
I do like them.
I do too. I'm worried. I don't know why. I just have like this like gut feeling that something's going to go horribly wrong with them, and I don't want it to because they are one of my couples in my like brain that I want to get married and think will, but I just for some reason feel like something bad is going to happen between them because it's going too well. Their pod conversations were all great. Everything was great. Like, and then even them in Mexico was really nice. Like,
we're not talking about
no,
Mexico.
I know, but like in my head, like nothing bad has happened yet, and I'm worried about it. So, anyways, I liked when they met. I thought their meeting was super cute.
They were the second people to meet.
Like, you can tell he thinks she's so attractive and he really, like, loves who she is as a person.
Yep.
And I just thought their meeting was so cute.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's such a big guy. Like, I didn't know what she would think, but she seemed into it.
Yeah, she started off seeming a little apprehensive about being like, wow, this is the guy.
But also, is it just awkward? I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? They did a cute little, like, the twirlies. Like, give me a twirl. And then she gave him a twirl. And then he's like, now my turn. And then he gave her a twirl.
And it was cute.
He gives her the shirt off his back when he arrived.
Yes, on his first day.
On his first day.
Which is a conversation that we never got to see.
Yeah.
Because at the end of their meeting, she says that it was like the ring is beautiful and it's great, but the shirt is what she's actually so excited about. So it's a weird thing that they never showed us.
Yes. They whispered the whole conversation.
Yeah, that was fucking weird. Why are you guys whispering? You're mic'd. We're still going to hear whatever you're saying, regardless of anything. Like, it was just weird.
Yeah.
Like, every word they said was whispered. It was like they were so nervous that they couldn't talk out loud. And it was just like, oh, I love you. I love you too. And it was weird.
Oh, you look.
It was just very strange because neither of them are quiet people. And that's the part that I find weird. Like, he is a very loud, outgoing man. And she's pretty out there.
Yes.
Like, she's no Marissa. But, like, she talks a lot. And she's, like, a loud girl. So I thought it was fucking weird. Why are you whispering at each other?
But it's fine. They're cool. They're cute.
I like them. It's fine.
Okay. I also hopes that they make it.
Me too. But I'm noting right now, Krista's worried.
Krista's worried. Okay, the next guy, Tim, 32, a content strategist.
Who's Tim? Oh, and Alex. Okay, I got it.
Yes, Alex, 32, a fashion designer. Tim has two sisters that have passed away on his intro. And he says immediately, I don't want to get married. I want to die married. Very sweet.
I feel so bad for Tim, though. Like, how... So he had 2 sisters pass away, not at the same time, and they're both his older sisters. Like,
Yep.
so he's the only sibling now, right? He didn't have a brother. I don't think so. I think it was just them.
Yeah.
I just think that's like the most tragic backstory of a person, and he doesn't really, like, from what we see of him, I don't see that like affecting him in such a negative way. Like, he's a pretty like positive for the most part person.
For the most part.
Yeah. I think he's got issues,
He
but
claims to be very chill and self-reliant, I think is the word I want to say.
he also, like, we learn later that he doesn't like arguing and stuff because he, like, I think that's probably something that triggers him weirdly, even though it's not his fault his sisters died or anything. But I think he just probably for so long had to try and keep his parents more calm when his sisters passed away. So I feel like he tries to stay calm.
That is a lot of
Assuming
things
I know,
about
but
his
that's
life
how I feel about
that
him.
he did not say at all.
I know, but that's how I feel about him. Continue.
Alex, fashion designer, very spiritual and very into astrology. Both of her parents have MS. That is one of her intro things.
These are the 2 most tragic humans.
Yes, I'm pretty sure you said that at
Yeah,
one point.
probably, because it's sad. That's sad.
It is, I agree.
I feel for them. And how did they find each other? The 2 tragic people.
Trauma bonded. That's not what trauma bonding means.
Jesus. They were kind of boring in the pods. Like,
Yes, they were another couple that was just into each other
and I think they're both
and no drama.
not like, I don't want to call them dry people because I don't think they're dry. I think she's dry. I think Alex is a very, like, monotoned, like, plain person. I don't think she had a lot of personality shown off in the pods.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just think she was boring. I couldn't tell you a single thing they said to each other in the pods besides that. I honestly forgot her parents had MS.
Oh. Well, like, I don't know. I don't think it comes up very often other than, like, her first intro
Yeah.
or something. Tim was in the Navy, and he says at one point, joining the Navy was the second best thing I did in my life. Leaving it was the best.
Yeah.
And Alex bonds with him over that because her grandfather was in the Navy for something, like the actual name I don't remember, something Islam.
Oh, yeah. I remember this.
And this is where we kind of learn more about Tim, and his sisters are both dead, and one died of lupus.
Mm-hmm. He never talks about how his other sister died.
No, not that we saw.
No.
Not in the conversations we saw.
And that's pretty much them. That's like, it wasn't, their meeting was just very, well, I remember she kept getting mad at him when they met because he kept calling himself a dog
Yeah.
because she wore a dress that was very, like, revealing on her top, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But he kept calling himself a dog, and then she was like, okay, that's more than enough of that conversation. Like, I'm sick of hearing it, because he would be like, I'm a dog. Like, I don't know. I get where she was coming from. It was really annoying. But that's all I remember from their meeting, because I feel like it was very dry and boring.
They both seemed super into it, though. You forgot when they were activity-based during their pods that we saw. We saw them, like, playing golf across from each other.
Yeah.
We saw them talk and paint.
Yeah, and they gave each other these cute little photos that they painted.
Yeah. Oh, Tim sent Alex one of his sister's bracelets.
Yeah.
And that and talked about how, like, this is them meeting her type thing.
Yeah, because she'll never meet them, obviously.
Yeah. So, like, there was a lot of, like, sweet little things that they talked about and did before meeting.
Do you feel like we learned much about her in the pods? I feel like we learned more about him
We
than
learned
anything.
way more about him and his backstory, and we kind of just, like, they kept commenting on, like, that she has a strong personality, and that, like, she says, like, I'm a strong personality, I'm a unstoppable force, and he's an immovable object. And, like, they
Yeah.
both just kind of comment on that back and forth.
And I feel like she does have but I don't think it's a strong personality. I think she's just very, like, stubborn and bullheaded. I don't think you're a strong personality, though. I think she didn't really talk about herself that much. I don't know. But maybe we just didn't see a lot of it.
Yeah.
And that's fine, too. That's not the same personality that I get. I don't know.
They meet.
Yeah.
She was super into him.
Mhm.
Okay. Do you think that Tim
No.
and Alex are going to make it?
No.
No.
And that's because of what happened in Mexico. If you ask
We don't talk about that.
But if you asked me before that episode, I would say yes, because they talked a lot about we talked about how I think their personalities can handle each other. I think she's kind of a bitch, and I think he can handle it. And I think their like personalities work well together. But then Mexico happened, and now I disagree with myself. So now I'm going to go no.
Okay. Jump to the next couple.
What about you? You didn't say anything.
Jump into the next couple. No, I don't think they're going to make it.
Did you always think that?
Yeah,
Did
kind
Mexico
of.
change that? Okay.
I don't know. There's something about Tim that like I thought was off a lot of it, and then him describing himself as being able to handle her opinion and not get mad or whatever about everything. Like, I don't think that's ever true.
I think he can handle it more than a lot of people probably could for her.
Well, yeah, probably
Yeah.
for her.
Like her specifically.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, the next couple is Tyler and Ashley A. Tyler is a nuclear security guard / officer.
Yes, we watches Homer Simpson at the nuclear plant.
Yes.
Continue.
And then Ashley A.
Okay, there's no other Ashley. I think we can just call her Ashley.
For some reason, it was Ashley A in the show. There was probably multiple
I think there
Ashleys.
was, yeah.
Yeah. I have no idea what she is. I didn't write it down.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm a terrible person.
You're a terrible note taker.
Yeah, so sorry.
I'll find out. Continue, though.
Okay, you find out when you can. We meet them. They talk about like gender roles and stuff and how like that works in a relationship. That was like their first conversation. And then they don't like believe in like stereotypical gender roles and stuff.
Yep.
So that was
And they both were on the same page with that.
Yeah, so that was good. Tyler's bucket list item is to skydive right before he gets married. So maybe this is his opportunity. Ooh.
I think that'd be cool. She's a marketing director.
Okay.
Is what she does. 32 marketing director.
Okay. At one point, Tyler reveals that his grandma died when he was young, and it really screwed up his entire like family and like having to take care of his mom. Like, so he became the adult in the house, etc., etc.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's a lot of.
I think they're both kind of religious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Tyler has a lot of tattoos.
Yeah.
Like religious-based tattoos and regular tattoos.
And then we learned from the internet, because TikTok can't avoid me forever for spoilers. But he has 3 kids, and people are freaking out about it. And then I stopped reading because I didn't want to go too far before we were done the first 7 episodes.
Yes.
But people are talking about his 3 kids and how he's a terrible person, blah, blah, blah. But like, I'm 90% sure that he has all of his kids' names tattooed on his chest.
Yes.
So like, if she doesn't already know, then she must know when we went to Mexico, because he had a shirt off, and I could tell you have all your kids' names tattooed, unless he just has random ass names everywhere. But
every girl I've dated tattooed.
Like, I'm gonna go with his kids, so I don't know what everybody's mad about, because the small amount that I read just talked about his kids. It didn't say anything about him having a girlfriend or anything like that. Like, he's no Trevor. He just has 3 kids. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird, and I want to read more, so I will after we're done this.
Oh, yeah, definitely religious. They had a dinner date.
Yes.
And they prayed.
Yes.
On the show. Yeah.
Yes. They're both very religious, which is good that they found each other, because I feel like the minute you try to pray with someone who's not religious, I feel like they'd be like,
Yeah, that's a no for me.
Yeah, no thank you. Yeah.
And then they had their dinner date was accompanied by like a little music date where they had the headphones and they were like playing each other's playlists or listening to music together, and that was cute.
That was cute.
Definitely not something I would do, but that was cute.
We could listen to Taylor Swift in headphones together.
No, no, thank you. I've listened to that enough with you.
I would like that date. I thought it was sweet.
Anyway,
except I wouldn't want to pray before we ate. But
Tyler has a B-day in the pods.
He does.
Ashley got him balloons and wrote him a speech, and that brought him to tears. Mm-hmm. And then I love yous, and then Tyler proposes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they meet. Dun, dun, dun.
With his 3 children.
Imagine they just like pop out of the woodwork and they're like, here you go.
Here we go.
Here's Sky, because that's the only name I can remember from his chest.
He gets down on a knee and actually proposes. I mean, I'm pretty sure all of them did.
Yeah, they all did.
It wasn't like in the UK where that one guy forgot.
Yeah. And they all cried too much. Like Ashley and him cried a lot.
Yeah. They both said that they were into each other. They both liked each other's looks. They said we'll have cute kids.
Yeah, and I believe them both. Like, it seemed very genuine when they were talking to each other.
Yeah.
I thought that was sweet. I liked them. I liked their little meeting. I thought it was really cute.
Yeah.
I think Ashley's adorable. Like, I hope that he does just have 3 kids and he's not a piece of shit, because I don't think Ashley deserves that. I think she's very nice. And I hope that, because they are one of the couples that I think would work.
Okay, you think they're going to make it?
I think so. If he's not actually a piece of shit, then yes.
Yeah.
I'm on team them, because they also keep saying that they're both 100% in. So I feel like they seem very sure. But mind you, it hasn't been very many days yet, so you never know.
I agree. I'm also agreeing they'll make it.
Okay.
I hope. Okay, moving on to the next grouping, because this is our first love
triangle.
It's not a triangle.
Yes, but
if
they're
Boda
so
doesn't like
close.
Ramses, it's not.
He does, though.
No, well, if he doesn't love him, it's not a love
No,
triangle.
but he does. He's like, I don't even care that you guys talk. I love this guy, and he's the best. And yeah.
Wow.
So it's a love triangle
Fine, whatever.
with a bromance.
Bodin, 35, a sales manager. He is Ukrainian, and his father died or left or something, so he was raised by a Filipino man, and he mentions this in his first intro.
Uh-huh.
And then we also meet Marissa, who is in law school. Both of them have been in the army of some form.
Yep.
She was in some form. We don't get a lot of like her backstory at first.
No, she doesn't talk about that a lot.
Yeah. And then she left the army and now is in law school and is going to be a law clerk or something, or she's a law clerk going to law school to be a lawyer.
Yep.
Something like that.
Bodan.
They're both, I like all the triangle for different reasons, but Bodan is very like positive, optimistic, and Marissa's full of energy.
Yeah, she is
full of joy and happy.
She's a very positive, happy, energetic human, for sure.
Yes.
Like, everything to her is great. I wish I could be like that, but I'm not. I really liked Bodan.
Yeah.
I think he's so sweet, and I liked hearing him talk. Like, I think he's also very energetic, super positive. Like, he just seemed like such a nice, happy person.
Yep.
And he's the only person I've ever seen that was like totally happy about her talking to someone else, because he really likes this guy and he's so sweet and he's happy with whatever, and he's so like, it was just,
yeah,
even everything he said about Ramses was so nice.
Yeah, it's like anti-drama.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They liked each other. They all liked each other.
Yeah.
They both read fantasy novels together. I think they talk astrology a little bit, but like not in the same way that
Alex does. Because Alex
no,
is super into astrology.
So's Marissa, but her and Ramses talk more about it than Bodan. Bodan talks about his funny story of almost dying by being stomped on by a camel.
Wild.
Wild story. Very funny. That was also accompanied by him.
I bet you it wasn't when he was almost getting stomped on by a camel.
Well, yeah. That was also accompanied with him talking about going to Ukraine to fight in the current war. So it got very emotional.
Yeah.
Lots of emotion there.
Yep.
We move over from Marissa talking to Bodan to Marissa talking to Ramses. Ramses is 35. He is a policy worker. He was previously married.
So was Bodan.
Yeah. They're very similar,
but
and
not
very
all
different
at the same time. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's very weird. But they both were
married before.
Yeah.
And he married his high school girlfriend. Obviously, it didn't work out. We learn about Marissa's parents being divorced and how her dad abandoned their family, and they were super poor.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Ramses is. They are very similar, Ramses and Bodan, but
Yep.
Ramses is very chill, and like, I think the two energetic people together was a lot of energy, like a lot. And Ramses is very like chill, which is why I feel like Ramses and Bodan worked as a friendship, because I think Ramses like absorbs the energy really well and doesn't get, because I feel like when you're around somebody that has that much energy all the time, it's definitely overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot to deal with. And I feel like he has such a chill personality that he's able to take that in without ever feeling that, which is kind of crazy.
It's the power of being a hippie.
Is it his braid that
Yeah.
makes you feel like he's a hippie?
No, that makes me think he really likes Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's the nose ring and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Um,
So
they go back and forth. So
Yeah.
Marissa goes and meets with Bodan, and then we'll see Marissa and Ramses together, and then we'll see Bodan and Ramses hanging out in the guys' room together, and then like they eventually talk, and like they both
figure out that
figure
they're
it out.
talking to her, and then Bodan's really cool with being like, yeah, I really like Ramses, like I'm happy for you, blah blah blah, and Ramses is like, I don't want to talk about Bodan at all. Like it was that was when their opposites really came out.
Yeah, he was like, well, like I'm chill with everything, but like it's also very hard. So
Yeah, so
because he admits it later, it's just like it was very emotional for me to deal with all that, but
Yeah.
I wanted you to experience it properly.
Which is way better than other people.
Yeah.
On the show.
Anti-drama.
Yes. So then we have to make a decision. It's very sad because we liked both of the guys. So it was like, well, shit. Whoever she
felt
picks.
broken up with.
Yeah, and I really liked Bodan.
Yeah.
And I didn't care about Ramses as much because I feel like Bodan's personality really like shown whatever Ramses because he was so energetic.
Mm-hmm.
But now with more info in my brain than when that happened, I was very sad when she picked.
Yeah.
And she picked Ramses, and I was like, oh, why? But then now that I'm like looking at it and thinking about it more, yes, the two energetic people would have killed me watching this because Marissa's very like everywhere all the time.
Yep.
And I like the way that Ramses soaks it in. I think it fits really well. So I am very happy that the two of them are together.
Marissa and Ramses talk about Will Ferrell versus Adam Sandler, and Ramses likes both. And
Marissa said there's a right answer. And
Yeah.
I was like, what?
yeah.
And the right answer was Adam Sandler.
No.
Yes,
wrong.
it is.
Wrong and
But
stupid.
it is. No, why though?
Wrong and stupid.
What has Will Ferrell done that's like super funny?
Barbie movie. Lego movie.
I don't think he was funny in the Lego.
Anchorman.
Anchorman was funny, but a lot of people didn't like that movie.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler when we were young, because she's around our age, Adam Sandler when we were young was great. And he's funny. And there's a lot of funny movies he did.
Mm-hmm.
And then Will Ferrell came out later, and he also has done a lot of bad movies. Talladega Nights is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's the only movie I wanted to leave the movie theater during.
Okay, this is not a Will Ferrell
stupid.
podcast.
Fine.
Get out of here.
I'm gonna start a Will Ferrell podcast.
Okay, just a hate podcast.
I don't hate him. I like Will Ferrell, but I would choose Adam Sandler as well. Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Bodan and Marissa have like an evening date that they start, and they walk in, and Marissa says like, hey, like I'm pretty sure, like I'm 100% sure it's going to be Ramses. Bodan's like, that's totally cool, very supportive of it.
He was so nice.
He was
It
super
so
nice,
sweet.
wished her the best, and
He
then
said, I think you guys are gonna be great together, and I'm so happy for you.
yeah, and then
And it was awkward because she was like, where do we go from here? And he's like, we leave.
we leave.
She's like, okay.
Okay. Well, she wasn't like, like you could tell she was feeling it, but like,
It was sad. I get it.
yeah, but it wasn't like
Okay. No.
cry. It was like okay.
Yeah, but she was still sad because you're still losing your other connection that you.
Had been building.
Yeah, and they had a good connection. It's just
Yeah.
Ramses was the one that makes more sense, and I get it.
And this is where they cut to Ramses talking to another guy about like his insecurities and like how people have talked about like his masculinity and shit. And he's like
Great.
definitely comparing himself to Bodan this whole time, who is very masculine in comparison.
See?
Compared to like Ramses, who's more like
I don't agree with that.
Bodan's a dude's dude. And I don't think Ramses is everyone's cup of tea.
Okay. I don't agree. I don't think that Bodan is like, I wouldn't look at Bodan and be like, what a manly man. Absolutely
Like not overly like
Somebody that energetic and positive and happy isn't a manly man. I'm sorry. He's not like rough around the edges. That's what a manly man is. You're rough and you're like a fucking lumberjack, you know?
No.
And I just don't think that Bodan is that.
I think there are different types, and you're wrong. Ramses and Marissa meet.
Yes.
It's great.
Yeah, it was a good one.
She was not expecting the way that he looked, but
She didn't expect the beard.
but yeah,
She doesn't like the beard.
I think she likes him a lot.
No, I do too, but she definitely didn't like the beard because she went, and he was like, oh, and she was like, but I like your face, so you can keep the beard.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell that, but I bet you the braid threw her off.
She's very ADHD.
Yeah.
And like keeps going back, like they'll be talking and be like, "You're so beautiful."
Yeah.
But it was cute.
No, they were very cute. I
Yep.
liked their convo. I had no issues with it. I thought it was sweet. He proposed again? Did he propose again?
Yeah, I think so. I think he did it almost right away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's just by that point it was so boring because everyone was just getting down on their knee.
Yeah. Who walked them back to their pod side first?
For sure the next couple, I don't know if someone else did. I think you mentioned it and I don't remember. That they walked them back at the end as a gentleman.
Yeah, and I thought that was, I thought it was Ramses, but maybe it wasn't him.
It might have been.
I don't know, but I thought that was sweet because they always just like fucking peace out at the middle and it's weird and then they like longingly look back at each other. I thought it was very gentleman-like, whoever it was, because I don't remember, that they walked her to the thing and left her there. And then I think it was Tim and Alex, to be honest.
Might have been.
And I thought that was very sweet.
I'm sorry, Tim and Alex.
I thought it was sweet.
Moving on to our next grouping of people.
So we'll talk about the men first. So Nick
D.
I
Nick Dorco.
I don't like Nick, and no one else likes Nick, which is the like crazy part. They all met Nick in the first day, and then they go back and talk shit about him immediately, and they were all like, "That's a hard no for me. They called him Mr. Suave because he was like too smooth and always had these lines, and it was very like it sounded fake."
Okay.
A lot of his conversations
Like a
to me.
pickup artist.
Yes.
Guy.
And like to me, if I heard that on my first time after seeing, because I'm sure all these people have watched the show,
Yep.
I would think you're just a piece of shit and you're just here for the clout.
Abrasive.
But that's what I would think. If I'm actually there for love and someone's trying to do that to me on the day one without having a lot of genuine conversation, that's what I would think.
Yeah. Okay, Nick D, real estate agent. He's 28. He talks a big game and flirts. We see like 3 or 4 girls before he actually meets one that we see a full conversation with, and that's Hannah. He used to be a football kicker in high school and college or whatever, and played for the CFL/XFL, and then stopped, and then now he's a real estate guy.
And he's a slimy real estate man, you know? Like, it's very hard. It's very hard for me to like Nick.
Okay.
There's a lot about him that he's not my person. Like, I would have walked out and been like, oh, fuck no. Don't ever ask to talk to me again because I don't want to. And I still feel that way.
Okay.
Nothing has changed for me on my opinion of Nick.
I don't hate Nick, but like I am a dude, so like I could be friends with him and not worry about him.
Yeah.
Like I don't have that layer.
Yes.
Okay. Leo, 30, an art dealer.
I liked Leo for like the first 10 minutes.
Yep.
And then I didn't like Leo anymore.
I agree.
He was money out a lot. Like, I make so much money, but I don't want to tell people that at the beginning because I don't want people to like me for just my money. But I'm wearing a fucking Rolex and like you're pick a side, man. Because you could have went the whole time without talking about your money and you didn't.
Yeah.
I feel like you brought it up often.
He definitely did in very many ways. It is part of his insecurity/security, which I do get kind of wanting to talk about in this experiment, but also you definitely didn't have to. But I don't come from money or have it, so I don't know.
But I'm also fine if you did want to talk about it. I'm fine with that. All the power to you. Congratulations on having money. Like, I'm happy for you that you are secure in your life and you're able to provide and do the things you want to do. Like, that's great. And I'm fine with you talking about it. I'm not fine with you sitting there and being like, I'm so insecure and I don't want somebody to marry me for money. And then you still told multiple people about your money before like picking a girl.
Yes.
Like, that's where I have a problem with it. It's one or the other. Either you don't talk about it because you feel like you shouldn't, or you talk about it because you're a proud person who's worked for money.
Yeah.
Like, choose.
Worked for it. Raised to be the dynasty. He's an art dealer. He owns an art dealership company because it was his grandparents, and then they died of cancers.
Mm-hmm.
And then he lost his parents.
Yep.
Like
Just sad.
3 of his parents to cancer too.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of cancer in his family.
His parents and his aunt and somebody else all got cancer and died within the same like couple years.
Yeah. So he's had inheritance after inheritance, and like growing up definitely with money.
But he already grew up with money and he
Yeah.
didn't have to take that business. He chose to. He talked about that at one point, how he had enough money. He didn't need to run that business. He could have just not.
Yeah.
and he chose to do it. So I still think, yes, he got handed a lot of money and stuff, but I still think he works and does stuff for it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's fine. You can be proud of that. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's what made me not like him, is that he was too wishy-washy on that, and then he started throwing it out there way too much.
Yep. So the first person that Leo meets is Hannah, which is also the first person that Nick meets that we get to talk to or see talking to.
Oh, Hannah.
Yeah. So Hannah. Let's go with Hannah. Who is Hannah?
Hannah's the youngest little bean.
Yes. She is 26 or 27.
Something like that.
She was a medical device salesperson, and she quit her job to be here for this love experiment.
Because they wouldn't give her the time off, which is crazy.
She describes herself as quirky with weird jokes that not everyone's going to get.
And I agree with that.
Yeah?
I agree with her personality of her description.
I don't like it, but I agree with it. Quirky is another word for bitchy.
I'm very torn on Hannah because I don't really like her, but I also feel like I could have liked her. I just, did they present her in a way that I don't like, or is she just shitty? I don't know.
Yeah. Is it the edit?
Yeah, like, is it her edit? Because there's nothing that, I don't know. I like her more than you do, for sure. She didn't bug me that much. I can deal with her.
Yeah.
I don't like, are we going to talk about the other one?
Okay, we can, we'll go to
okay, so then,
Brittany.
So then Leo is also talking to Brittany. So right now, Hannah's talking to Nick and to Leo, and Leo's talking to Hannah and to Brittany. Can't stand Brittany.
Brittany is 32. She doesn't really have a job. Oh, wait, yes, she's an esthetician.
A
skincare person, sorry.
She's an esthetician.
But doesn't have a career goal or anything.
Which is fine.
She wants to be a trophy wife.
Yeah, okay, that's not cool.
She admits to being dumb and will chase men, and says that this is so hard an experiment because normally she could just seduce any man that she wanted there.
With her eyes. And the first note that Brandon has written down is Crista hates her voice. She is so annoying.
Mm-hmm.
And she cries every 3 seconds. Like, she walks into the pod, she sits down, and then immediately gets up to grab a tissue from on a shelf. For one, why is your tissue on a fucking shelf? Put her goddamn tissues on the couch. Because you know she's going to use one every single time she's in there. And she's just, woe is me. I don't like that you said you want to be a trophy wife. Have better ambition for yourself. It's not the 1950s. You can do better than that. And it bugs me. I don't like that.
Yeah.
And she is pretty. I'm fine. I understand. But you can do things. You're not that dumb.
Yeah, one of their first conversations is them talking about how well off Leo is and how he's uncomfortable with it all the time and is worried about someone using him for his money.
And trophy wife Brittany.
And then trophy wife Brittany says in her last relationship she was 100% taken care of and she doesn't believe in splitting things 50-50.
Yep.
And it seems like a match made in hell because they on paper right there sound like they shouldn't be together.
None of any of their conversations in the pod sound like they should be together.
Yeah.
They don't, in my personal opinion, I don't think they made a good connection. I don't see why she thinks that he's the perfect one for her all the time. And I think it's his money. Because I don't
That's the edit, at least.
Yes. We'll go with that. But she just comes off very meh to me. Yeah. And what are you crying about half the time? I feel like you crying is fake too. I just don't feel, I don't know. She bugs me. I don't like Brittany.
Yeah.
It's fine.
She did spend a lot of the time crying and being sad that Leo was in another,
talking to Hannah.
Equally committed relationship to Hannah.
Which is insane. That's the fucking experiment. You signed up for this.
Yeah.
You signed up to date 20 people. And knowing that people date each other, you've seen the show. I'm sure you signed a lot of paperwork about how this works.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what you knew was going to happen. So the fact that she sits there for half of it and she's like, "Oh, everything you say, I don't like that. You shouldn't. I don't want you." When he asked her what kind of ring she likes, and that became a huge fight. Because he just wanted to know what kind of ring you like. And he said, I'm going to ask the other girl as well. And at least he's being honest.
Well, she said, I don't want to talk about rings if you're also going to talk about your other connection.
If you're also going to ask her, yes.
Yeah.
Why? that's insane to me. I just think you knew that he was going to talk to her. Why can't he ask both? I just don't understand why you're arguing about it. And then you're crying about it. And then he describes you your perfect ring. And then you're like, I forgive you now because you knew. Well, shut the fuck up. You guys talk all the time. Of course he knows, but he wants to make sure. But he also might know Hannah's. Like, that is what you came here for. Be more like a Bodan.
Yeah. Everyone should be more like a Bodan.
I know, but she just pissed me off.
Yeah, I agree. So, like, Leo jumps from Hannah to Brittany, Brittany to Hannah, just like Marissa did, going back and forth a lot. He really likes Hannah, though.
He does, and their connection makes more sense to me.
Yeah. And we see, like, and Hannah really likes Leo, too. And we see a lot of, like, their good conversation. Like, we see a lot of Leo and Brittany more than we see Leo and Hannah.
We did forget to mention that Hannah does cut things off with Nick or Leo very early.
Leo.
I know, but it happens pretty early in it where Hannah tells Leo she's going to cut it off with Nick because the girls in the, like, pod squad are basically telling her that he's trash and they didn't like him and blah, blah, blah. So I think it gets in her head and she's like, okay, I feel the same way. I get it. I'm just going to go for Leo. So she cuts things off with Nick.
It's not early. It's definitely, like, in the middle.
Fine, in the middle.
For that.
But I feel like it's important because...
Yeah, it definitely is.
They show that, and then Nick's really upset about it because Nick's whole thing is, well, I'm only talking to you, and I only want to be with you, and I thought we were going to get married, blah, 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 which I think was too... I don't believe anything he said anyway, but I get why she did that.
I do and I don't, because I think that their talks were mostly fine, and then I think the other girls just got in her head.
Yes.
And that combined with, like, she still had Leo.
But she had a good connection with Leo.
Yes.
I could have seen them make sense in my head.
Yes. Yes, I could have too.
Yeah, and, like, especially from their conversations, they just seemed more into each other than anything else. And then she decides that she made a mistake and that she wanted to talk to Nick still, which is fine.
But that is also accompanied with the fact that Brittany comes into the girl room and goes, I just had the best conversation with Leo. Oh!
Yeah. She didn't mean to say his name or whatever.
Whoopsie, accident.
Well, I don't think she knew that Hannah was talking to Leo.
Well,
at that point.
Maybe. I
don't know. But yes, and then she decides to talk to Nick again.
Yeah, and then she, like that's one night, and then, like, the next day she wakes up and she talks to another girl and says, like, I think I made a mistake cutting off Leo.
No, Nick.
Or cutting off Nick.
Yeah.
And, like, I requested a date with him today. I don't even know if he's still here.
Yeah.
And, like,
it was very messy.
When Nick broke up or got broken up with, like, yeah, he was really sad, but he took it very well.
Yes, he did.
Like, he wished her the best.
Yeah.
Very Bowden move.
But the whole thing was very messy. Both of these couples are messy.
Yeah.
In any way, no matter which way we went, it would have been fucked. Like, I just don't think that any of them should be together. I don't think these personalities all mesh together, is my opinion on it.
All four of them go home.
Go home. But obviously that doesn't happen because this is Love is Blind and we love TV.
Yeah.
Brittany cries a lot.
Yep.
Through this whole thing because they're all still talking and whatever. And at some point, Hannah and Nick have, like, not a final conversation, but a combo. And Nick says, I love you. I can see myself proposing to you tomorrow. I really want to be with you, whatever. And then Hannah says, I love you back. And then she gets in her own brain about it because then she's, like, ready. She goes into the girls' room and says, I'm going to break up with Leo tonight. Tells Brittany I'm going to break up with him tonight. Hugs her, like, all is well. This is what's going to happen.
They were both glad that they knew so that they could talk to each other about these things.
Yes, and be, like, good. So then she says that. She says he's all yours, whatever. And then she goes to her night date with Leo because she saw Nick during the day and tries to tell him, like, no, I'm going to go with Nick, whatever. And Leo was a psychopath.
Yeah, he became insane.
It was fucked. Like, that was scary. To me, I would have immediately left. He basically, like, strong arms Hannah into saying she'll
continue dating him.
Yes, and she's gonna sleep on it, and, like, he's like, but you said I love you to him, but I love you. And I said I'd only say I love you to someone if I knew I was going to propose to them. And I want to be with you. And I don't have the same connection with Brittany as I do with you. It's strong, but it's not the same. I want to be with you. Like, that's essentially everything he says. And he's like yelling at her.
Yeah, because he's like really mad that he's
mad that she had her date with Nick before he did.
Yes.
Because he thinks that if he had said this stuff, Hannah would have went for him. And she says, well, maybe, but I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Leo was going to take both of them to literally the end of the pause. Both of them.
And Nick didn't have another connection, and he really cared about Hannah. So why shouldn't he tell her, like, hey, I want to be with you. I know you're still talking to Leo, but I love you.
Yeah.
And I don't think anything, like, I think Nick was fine. Like, I don't think anything he said was wrong. But Leo was fucked.
Yeah.
I would have been mad. And then she goes and tells Brittany about, like, Leo asks her not to tell Brittany and to, like, go advocate for him and say,
no, that's
is that the next day?
That's the next day.
Oh, sorry. But I know that, like, Hannah tells Brittany that he kind of went weird, and it was weird.
Yes.
And some of the stuff he said, like, that he wanted to be with her and that he would propose, if he proposed, would she say yes right now?
Yes.
And then Brittany's like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was all really messed up. Leo goes and talks to the boys and how, like, and then he starts, like, treading immediately, like, to the boys / the cameras, because the TV or whatever. I definitely think he wanted to be on the show.
Yes. I think he's one of the shitty ones.
Yeah, for show stuff. So they meet the next day because she relented and said, yeah, fine, I'll meet you tomorrow. We'll have another date tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, I'll sleep on it, whatever. And then, like, they both come out and Leo's just like, I'm so sorry for the thing that I said last night that was out of line, blah, blah, blah. He apologizes a bunch. And then, like, they both mutually break up with each other now.
But, like, not really. Hannah still broke up with you, sir. You're just now, because you knew she was breaking up with you and you knew it wasn't going to change, you're now like, oh, it's mutual. I love Brittany. She's the one for me. And their conversation was fucking weird at the end when he kept being like, I know that Nick's the one for you and you guys are going to be happy and Brittany is the one for me. Like, it's like he was trying to convince himself that Brittany was the one for him.
He was trying to convince the audience.
Like, it was fucked and I didn't like it at all. Yeah, and then they kind of make it seem like, oh, Brittany has a choice though. Like, it's all up to Brittany now.
Brittany's the one in charge.
Yes,
now.
And she is. I agree. But she's an idiot, so that's fine.
Yeah, and okay. My personal opinion when Leo was going insane was like, Brittany can't go back to Brittany after this and still be a good person because of what he said in that moment to Hannah. Like, that was insane.
And you apologizing for it the next day and being like, I didn't mean to say all that. I don't give a shit. You said it all.
Yeah.
And you're a piece of trash now. You always have been, but you're like extra trash now.
Yeah.
So.
And that's also the point when he says, can you tell...
Yeah,
Hannah, can you tell Brittany that that this is mutual and that I want her?
And only her, and she's not a second choice. She's the one I want. And Hannah's like, yeah, no, that's fucked. And then she tells Brittany that he asked her to do that.
Yes.
As she should, because that's fucked up. And then Brittany, and so then Nick proposes to Hannah.
Yep.
Hannah says yes. It was very sweet. I liked their proposal. I thought it was cute.
He got her flowers and a big bouquet.
And it was nice.
He proposes with a cute speech. Yep.
And then Leo proposes to Brittany. And it's just so not a genuine conversation. Like, everything about it is fucked. She's crying, obviously, the whole time because it's Brittany. And then she still says yes.
Yeah.
You're fucking dumb.
Brittany says, I wrote you a speech and I wrote you a love letter and then I crossed it all out.
And then she reads it anyway.
And she reads some of it.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I wrote you a poem. And
the poem was so bad.
It rhymed a lot.
And she laughed like 3 times during it. And he, like, even though it wasn't supposed to be funny, it just was because it was bad. And it was probably written that morning. Like right after him and Hannah broke up mutually. She shouldn't have said yes. And then they meet. We'll go with them. Leo and Brittany first. So they meet.
They meet. They're the last, or
They're the last people to meet.
no, second last, but
No, they were the last.
no, Ramses
Oh,
was
okay.
the last, but yeah.
So they meet,
Yes.
and it is so awkward the whole time. I'm uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable.
Brittany was uncomfortable, and she has
Like,
the little,
very obviously uncomfortable
and she has the little confessionals,
afterwards.
like not after, like during. They cut
Oh.
back and forth
Yeah.
to her confessionals where she's like, I wasn't clicking, like my brain didn't realize, like, who is this man?
It's just not what I thought it was. And
Yeah.
he just kept telling her how beautiful she was and how pretty she is. And like, it just felt uncomfortable for everyone except for Leo somehow. Leo just didn't even pick up on the fact that Brittany was uncomfortable. And then when he kissed her aggressively, like,
With
it
a
was
weird
just-
neck grab.
Yeah, like you're
Ugh.
being too aggressive and she's not into it. And then when they sit down, they go into her side
Yep.
together and they're sitting in there. Like he's like, "Are you cold? I want to give you my jacket." And she was like, "Okay. I'm
Well-
not cold, but you can give me your jacket." Like, that's fine. And she seemed, because I think she was trying to
Yes.
be into it because she said yes. And they're sitting there and then he's like, "Well, can we cuddle?" And it just felt weird even watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. And then, so it's an uncomfortable, like, half an hour that they sit through where she's like, "I don't know how I sat through this half an hour," because that's who said they were there for 30 minutes.
Yeah. And they talk a lot about going to Miami if they don't go to Mexico.
Yes, because apparently they somehow knew that one couple wasn't going to be going on the trip, I guess.
Yeah.
Is my assumption of that, is that they knew only 6 couples were going to be continuing, but 7 got engaged.
Yeah. Or seven got engaged that, like, they bothered filming this much.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But they knew that one couple wasn't going, I guess. That's what I took from it.
Yeah.
And it's just all felt fucking weird.
Yes.
And then they
So-
show her being like, "Yeah, that was weird. I don't know what I'm doing." And then he leaves and she just sighs and she's just like,
Defeated.
and looks so upset that anything exists. Like, it just felt so upsetting for her. And then they do like a little speech blurb thing that's like,
Text appears on the black screen.
Brittany and Leo were not chosen by the producers to continue on the show. So they went on their own trip to Miami and then broke up after.
Broke up weeks later.
So I read a little bit about like why. So the producers only wanted to have 6 couples go.
Yeah. 5 and 6 is like the max.
Yeah.
Almost always.
And they chose when they were trying to choose who they thought would go, because they filmed it and then decided
Mm-hmm.
before they went to Mexico or whatever. They wanted to choose the people that they figured were more likely to say yes, because obviously that's the point of the show, is that you get married at the end. So they chose the most genuine couples, and they didn't feel like Leo and Brittany were genuine in any way, and that there was no way that they were going to say yes. Because I don't think that Brittany was not genuine. I think Leo wasn't. And I think there was no chance they were ever going to be together.
No.
It was weird. I think they would have left partway through the thing.
I don't think Brittany was genuinely there for a good reason.
No.
She was genuine to herself, but not there
Yes.
for the right reasons.
No, but even them meeting, it was very clear that that was not going to work. So that's why the producer said that they just weren't genuine. It wasn't a genuine conversation ever. So that's why they decided that they would not be coming. And
Yeah.
they did not want to film them anymore.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So we go back in time to Hannah and Nick meeting.
So they walk out, they look at each other, and Hannah's like not a big girl, but she's bigger, and she's tall, and she's wearing heels.
So
And Nick
5'9"
describes
in heels.
himself as a football player, and
About 5'11", a football player. So she was expecting him to be like a bigger, huskier guy.
he's not. And she goes, "Well, I feel like he kind of lied to me a little bit about his description of himself, because that's not what he looks like."
Yeah.
And he said he was better looking than Travis Kelce, and compared himself to someone else. And she was like, "Absolutely not. Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?" And
She says that she would not go for a guy like him.
no. And I get that. That's what this experiment is for, is that you find love
Yes.
with someone that you're not normally. But I think this is why talking about the description of yourself in any way brings us back to fucking Chelsea Was her name Chelsea?
Yeah.
When she said she looked like Megan Fox, and you fucking don't. So I think talking about stuff like that and comparing yourself to anybody is so stupid because you're stupid.
Yes.
Nick, you do not. I don't think Travis Kelce is an attractive person, but you definitely aren't better looking than him. And you're not bigger. You're tiny. You're a tiny little man. You're tiny.
He's like average. And
I think he's shorter than 5'11".
yes,
He's like 5'10". He's
Yeah.
like my height.
Yeah, sure.
Anyways, their meeting was fine. It was awkward because you could tell she was like taken back by that he didn't look the way he looked, but she tried.
Mm-hmm.
She tried, and they had a fine conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely less awkward than fucking Leo and Brittany.
It sure was.
So
that's the pods, and we're gonna end it there. We'll do the second part of Mexico because this has already been an hour and 10 minutes.
will we do a second part? Do we just add Mexico to the next Mexico episode so that we fully get Mexico? I think we should.
Fine, we'll do that one.
All right. Well, TTYL.
See you next time. Tomorrow night.